morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody, wherever you're at in the world. It is Last Raps Baseball with live commentary of the Upon Professional Baseball League. Tonight, we're going to be bringing you a doubleheader. The first game that we have on the slate is going to be the Giants and the Tigers from the Cochin Stadium, home of the Hanshin Tigers. The magic number is 6 for the Giants as they have a one-game lead over the Tigers as they're battling it out for first place. The Bay Stars have moved into third as they are 6 back of the Giants. And the Carp have slipped to 6.5 back as they are in fourth place in the Central. We'll later tonight give you the game between the Marines and the Eagles as they are battling for that last playoff spot over in the Pacific League. Both of those two will be going head-to-head tonight in a one-off at the game in the Zozo Marine Stadium outside of Tokyo in Chiba. Well, first of all, we're going to give you the starting lineups for the visitors for the Yomiuri Giants. Leading off and in center field is number 8, Yoshihiro Maru. Batting second in right field is number 51, Shogo Asano. Batting third and playing second base is number 2, Naoki Yoshikawa. Hitting in the cleanup spot and playing third base is number 25, Kaz Okamoto. Batting fifth at first base is number 24, Takashi Oshiro. Hitting sixth in left field is number 39, Koko Montez. Batting seventh and doing the catching is Yukinori Kishida. Batting eighth and playing shortstop is Mikado Katawaki. Batting ninth and doing the pitching is the American left-hander Foster Griffin, as he is going to be batting ninth. And they're going to be facing Hirano Takahashi, who starts with a 4-0 record. He's worked 23 and 2/3 innings. He's allowed 15 hits, 4 runs, all of which have been earned. He's walked 4 and struck out 22, and he's got himself an earned run average of 1.52. Well, that's your starting lineup for the visitors from Tokyo, the Yomiuri Giants. Now your starting lineup for the home team, the Hanshin Tigers. Leading off and in center field wearing number 5 is Koji Chikamoto. Batting second at second base is number 51, Takumu Nakano. Hitting third and right field is number 1, Shota Morishita. In the cleanup spot and playing first base is number 3, Yusuke Oyama. Batting fifth at third base tonight is number 8, Teruaki Sato. In the sixth spot and in left field is number 32, Kota Inoue. Batting seventh and doing the catching is number 2, Ryotaro Imano. Batting eighth at shortstop, number 0, Seiya Kanami. And batting ninth and doing the pitching is Haruto Takahashi. And they're going to be facing Foster Griffin, who he will take to the hill with a 6-4 record, 110 and 2/3 innings pitched. He's allowed 92 hits. He has given up 38 runs. 37 have been earned. He's walked only 22 and struck out 119. He's pitched to an ERA of 3.01. Well, those are your starting lineups. We welcome everybody into the stream tonight, whether you listen live or on delay. We'll be back in just a couple moments with all the action. Appreciate you guys for stopping in with us tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be back after this musical timeout. Well, we are struggling to get our feed ready to go here. And if worst case scenario, we had to jump over and do the Carp and the Dragons, we would do that because that is a feed that we have. But we were hoping we can get the Giants and the Tigers up for you tonight. If not, it'll be the 1 o'clock hour for the other ones. So hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back in just a couple moments. Appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us. We'll be right back as we get our feeds all set up. Welcome back, everybody. This certainly is on the cards tonight as we are looking to give you guys the Tigers and the Giants, and we are having some difficulties with our feeds. We are going to be scheduled to do the game in another 3 hours where we're going to do the Marines and the Golden Eagles. We are okay to get the Carp and the Dragons, but that's a game that we really don't care to watch, to be honest. So we're hoping to see if we can sort out any difficulties here to be able to give you the Giants and the Tigers, and if not, and it'll be a couple hours until we get back on the airways again. So we're just going to loop the music and we'll hang tight for a couple moments here. And if we can't sort it out, then it is going to be something we're going to have to do a little bit later. Our friend Killa is in the house here. Welcome to you. Welcome to Luke as well. As we mentioned, we are fighting and battling a little bit to make sure that we get our streams up and ready to go, but it may not be coming to fruition tonight. Our friend Killa, who's in the house tonight, he asked us to take a look at his stream, which we did afterwards. We can give you some feedback a little bit there on that. And that is where we're at. So hang tight, everybody, with us. We'll be back in just a couple moments. As I said, it'll try to get this one where we can get it up and going. And if we can't, as we said, our other game that we're going to be doing will be at the 1 o'clock hour. But we've got some time to kill here as we want to try to get this one underway. Hang tight, everybody. Stick with us, and we'll try to get this sorted out. And if we can't, then we'll let you know in the next few minutes. We're waiting on the Giants and the Tigers. It was late to get their lineups up, and it is late for us to get it going here. So we'll hang tight for a second. I'll be right back in just a few. Well, there's nothing like a good crowd on a Sunday night, and with no difficulties or with difficulties with us getting up be able to stream to give you guys here tonight. We can get you the Dragons and the Carp, and we're not going to do that game as we just finished eating our dinner and we don't want to have to throw that up. On the other side of the coin, I can tell you that the first two outs of the inning, both Maru and Asano grounded out to second base to begin the first for the Giants. And the other game that we are slated to do tonight will be at the 1 a.m. Pacific, 4 a.m. Eastern. We're going to do the Eagles and the Marines in the Battle of the Pacific League. But this one here tonight, we have been unable at this point here to be able to establish ourselves a solid feed. So we are going to try to see if we can do that here. We're going to hang tight for just a couple more moments. And as we said, if not, then we're going to have to shut her down. And we're going to have to, unfortunately, give you that one at the 1 o'clock hour. The Carp are moving on to defenses. We're getting a chance to look in at those guys. And I don't know if I'm capable enough to do diamond surfing Japanese style like we have in years past doing the major league games, where we can bounce from game to game and place to place to be able to give you guys different information and updates as it moves along. There are farm games that are going on across the NPB, and it is Maury who is taking to the hill for the Carp over there tonight, as that is about as must win a game as you can have. They're playing the Dragons here tonight, and the Carp are a half game out of a playoff spot as they are behind the Yokohama DNA Bay Stars. It's always the problem with the Central League is to get yourself a reliable feed, and that is something that we have struck on or stumbled on a few times throughout the last couple of years, as all the games in the Pacific League will go off a little bit later, and sometimes it's roll of the dice. Even the Yokohama Swallows game, nowhere to be seen here tonight, at least on our end of things. So everybody just hang tight for a couple of minutes, and if not, we're going to wave the white flag. We'll tap out, and we'll be back at the 1 a.m. hour. It's unfortunate, but we will hold a few court with you guys here. Our friend Killis says he's having some issues on his streams lately on MLB TV, and so that was the part. The MLB games, sometimes they've been doing a lot of restarts on their things. Killa often asks, how do you watch the NPB games when you call them? Well, there's a pile of different ways, and we list them on our members page, so that's the easiest way to be able to do that. You can go and take a look and find it. And sometimes they're difficult, and sometimes they're not so much as they are, as people will follow along. As some of the people that do come in and listen, and they sync up the feed with us because there's no English commentary on the games. And that is generally how we typically do that. So that gives you that information. And even there, it's not always the same. But there are a couple of ways. We've had a couple other people that have mentioned to us Amazon Prime out of Japan, but you got to have a VPN for that. Has been carrying games this year, as have Yahoo in the past. Again, you got to have a VPN, and then you can pretty much pick up those type of games. Other spots that sometimes will carry the game. When I was in Japan, obviously J-Sport, they got about 5 different stations. And then there's a couple of apps out of Taiwan that you'd have to be able to get to. But the same type of thing, you've got to be able to have that cloak so that they don't know that you are in North America or Europe or wherever it might be as you're trying to pick up the feeds of the games. But it sure doesn't look like it's going to play on our side here tonight, as it is going to be, unfortunately, a lost opportunity. Unfortunately for us, I'm a little surprised that isn't going to be a Monday game that we will be able to get there. So hang on for just a couple more minutes. We're going to try a couple other options. And if the options don't work, as I say, we'll be back at 1 a.m. for the game between the Eagles and the Marines, which will be for a playoff spot. We'll just keep you entertained with a little bit of other action and a few other things before we go. This was when we were in Japan, all that recently. Welcome back, everybody. We're still struggling here to be able to pull anything up for you in terms of a feed for the Giants and the Tigers here tonight. As we mentioned, the Dragons and the Carp are going off elsewhere. And unfortunately, that is looking like where it's at here. We got a couple of more options to try to do, and we'll entertain you with a little bit more. But if not, as we said, we will be back at the top of the hour at 1 o'clock on the West Coast, or 4 a.m. if you're on Eastern time zone, as we will give you guys And who would have figured out if you couldn't get one game with the Carp and the Dragons? Now we got two feeds of the Carp and the Dragons. So we'll see if maybe we hang in here for a little bit more. Maybe we'll get something that will bounce us over to the Giants. But hang tight, everybody, for just a couple more minutes. And as I said, if not, then we'll have to bounce back at the top of the hour to give you guys that other one there. A little disappointed because we were all set up and ready to go for this one here tonight as well. Hang tight, guys. We'll be right back in just a few, as we're trying to sort out our feeds. Our friend Troy in the house tonight, Sam, Killanuez, Luke, and everybody else who's jumped in with us. As we mentioned, we're struggling to get ourselves the feed on this one here tonight, shockingly. And it is strange that is the case. We're probably going to be back on the air. Well, not probably. We will be back on the air at 1 a.m. Pacific, 4 a.m. Eastern, as we give you the Marines and the Golden Eagles. It is the Detroit Tigers who are in the playoff picture. It's unbelievable. If you would have asked me that at the beginning of the year, I probably would have said the Colorado Rockies had a better chance than the Tigers did. That is the way things are going in Detroit right now. We had mentioned that our feeds here, we have Carp and Dragons, but we're not going to get ourselves set up to be able to do that. So we have done some of that other stuff. Sam says, did you try the link I sent? I don't know what link you've sent, but there's nothing that is straight in here. We've got a pile of different options that we can kind of go through at our end of things. And really right now, there is not much that is looking like it is going to be on our end of things. That is the way that it is going. And we'll try to take a couple more moments. And if not, and as I said, it'll be us doing the Marines and the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles, as that game is a battle between third and fourth place. Just a couple other no's and notes from around the NPB, as we have a few things. Hiroshima Carp hitter Masaya Yano has set a new NPB record by facing 22 pitches in a single at-bat. The previous record was 19 pitches, and so Yano yesterday, that's pretty amazing, 22 pitches in an at-bat. When we were on the call for the Giants game the other night, he had an at-bat that was a 12-pitch at-bat and an 11-pitch at-bat. He just kept flailing and fouling pitches off and fouling pitches off. But last night he was able to set that record. So put that in perspective. of just how many pitches that would be from one pitcher to try to get him out. Oryx Buffaloes last night were officially eliminated from the Pacific League playoff race. So just like the Lions, we're probably scratching them off of our list of teams that we will not be looking at between now and the end of the year. Munetaka Murakami of the Swallows hit his 222nd home run last night, tying him for most home runs for players in the first 7 seasons with a guy named Kazuhiro Kiyohara. So that is of interest, at least for the Swallows fans, because there's not much baseball left for those guys either. They are out of the playoffs as well. Chichi Dragon pitcher Hideki Wakui hit his first double in 13 years. The only other time he hit a double was in interleague play when he did it pitching for the Saitama Cebu Lions back in May of 2010 against the Yokohama DNA Bay Stars. Tokyo College Swallow first-round draft pick Kota Nishidate has had Tommy John surgery on his right arm, so you can pretty much kiss him goodbye for the 2025 season. And I'll see you back in 2026. Radiel Martinez of the Chinichi Dragons achieved a personal best in saves in Japanese baseball as he picked up his 40th save of the night last night. Other news and notes: if the Hiroshima Carps miss finishing the playoffs this year, miss the playoffs, it'll be the first time in NPB history that a team enters September 1st in first place and finishes the season in 4th. I think if I remember correctly, I was doing the other night, the Carp are 4-14 right now, entering the play tonight in the Central League in the month of September. And when I was in Japan, they were in first place, and they've absolutely been putrid since I have left. And then when you look at teams, the hottest teams right now in the NPB, the hottest team is in the Central League at 8-2. It is the Hanshin Tigers. At 8-2 in the Pacific League, it is the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks, winners of 8 of their past 10. Worst team right now in the last 10 games is the Oryx Buffaloes. They are at 1-9. And the Carp in the Central League are a solid 2-8. And that is where they stand there. And just a couple other news and notes from around the starting pitchers for that game later tonight. It'll be Takayuki Kishi who takes to the hill for the Eagles. He's going to go head-to-head against Yuki Karakawa for Chiba. Kishi is 5-10. Karakawa is 3-0. And so that is what they do it there. Our friend Killenwez says, what do they call Tommy John in Japan? Probably the same Tommy John. That's pretty unbelievable. Killa wanted to know what the end result of that bat for the hitter Yano was. And I have to tell you, I don't know what the end of the result was. I didn't go through the rest of the article, as that was just the headline. I'm sure there'll be a breakdown on that. But whatever it was, you got to give your guy a high five for something like that, even if he walks back to the dugout and strikes out. That would be pretty unbelievable. But we'll take a look. We'll go back and see if we can pick up what the result of that was. It looks like Yano, it was in the 6th inning, and he had with the scoreline at 1 ball and 2 strikes. And he did that against the Chinichi pitcher Hideki Wakui. And the first pitch he had fouled off, and the second putting him in the hole. And then he battled it back. But they really didn't give you the result and what it was. Of course, it may have, but that was through the Japanese translations. And he went on to win it by getting a walk. There it is right there. He ended up getting a base on balls. So that would be quite the at-bat and quite the battle. Okay, everybody. Well, unfortunately, we are going to be tapping out, but we are going to be on at the 1 a.m. Eastern time hour. And if you had to ask me my choice, I'd rather be on right now than I would be at 1 a.m. I'd rather be going to sleep, but we're going to be back at that time. We'll throw our lineups in the garbage, and we'll let the NPB know that this is unfortunate. And as I said before, when I was in Tokyo last year, I asked them, we said, hey, we'd even pay for a service if we could get it. And apparently they would rather have you just try to get it where you can get it, however you can get it. Killen Wes, Sam, Luke, Troy, anybody else who popped in here tonight to listen, unfortunately, we appreciate you guys for stopping in. We'll be back, as we said, at the top of the hour at 1 a.m. Eastern. And it'll be 4 a.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. Pacific for the call of the game. Take care, everybody, and we'll talk to you guys soon.